All right, world. Welcome to One More Game podcast, episode 2. Today is 26 February 2022. I am theStroke. I'm here with my good buddy, the legend, Swiftmida. How's it going, Swift?
Dude, I'm really excited to be here. Uh, Last week was a lot. I was a little nervous, and I'm excited to do it again.
Yeah, I mean, this is our second week, so we're basically pros now, just like those guys you got on your hat right there.
Yeah, you bet, dude. Yeah, I wore it for you.
Washington Commanders, for those of you on
Washington
the podcast.
Commanders.
So we've got,
Yeah.
in case you guys don't know, I'm a Cowboys fan, and he's a team formerly known as the Washington Football Team fan. So
we've had a couple names in the past couple of years, but I wore it specifically for you.
Nice, thanks, man.
Yeah,
you're the best. Cool. Well, happy to have you here, man, and happy to have the rest of our listeners here. If you're in stream, thanks for joining us, and thanks for joining us on podcast. We are OMG Podcast, and we are here to talk all things gaming, gaming industry news, gaming releases, reviews, analysis, anything that you can think of when it comes to games. I really talk to you about games when you don't have the time to play, so that you can at least be a part of that world that you once loved so much.
Yep.
Cool. Well, dude, let's get right into it. I guess we'd be kind of remiss if we didn't talk about a little bit of what's going on, real world wise. You and I, neither of us are political animals, but you know, we probably should talk about Ukraine and kind of our thoughts as military aviators and just gamers. And so I'll kind of I'll jump right in and chat. Feel free to talk about it, start up the conversation. But we're going to try to be a little bit like steering clear of politics and just talk about our thoughts about it. So, dude, to be honest, this is probably, if you think about it, in our lifetime, top 5 to 10 world events that's happened. It kind of reminds me of when I was enlisted in the Air Force back in 2008, I think it was. Maybe 7. Russia attacked Georgia. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
They kind of shelled their airfield.
I think I was still in high school when you were downrange.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
You're the same age as me, dude.
I
know. Yeah, dude. So my crew and I used to be a loadmaster. I flew in the back of C-130s, and we were a TDY in Italy at the time. And when this happened, they like stopped all the training that we were doing, and we were just there on alert, and we were thinking that we were going to have to go in there and kind of be a part of that, but nothing ever panned out from that. But you know, I kind of thought humanity as a whole was past the point where like countries could just, especially big like world power countries, could just invade other countries. It's sad to say that that's not the case.
Yeah, it is. It's horrible.
Yeah. Sucks. What are your thoughts?
Blonde Bandit in the chat. Thanks, Jen. She was in elementary school.
Yeah, that's actually accurate. My wife was in elementary school when I was on my first deployment.
No, dude, I think it's crazy. Just overall to think that you can just invade another country and be a bully and, you know, whatever. There's all kinds of thoughts about it. You watch the videos on Twitter, you watch, you know, on Instagram. It's all getting passed around as far as the videos and chatter is concerned. But I mean, it's horrifying to say the least.
And we haven't. War has been kind of a part of like American life for a long time, but not like these are two modern countries, right? So you're seeing like live video feed from people's selfie cameras of this stuff, and it's going to be a whole new world of like, you're going to have to see it up close and personal.
Yeah, no, I agreed. And I think that it's crazy because this is the 21st century. So we, no kidding, get to see all the things that are happening. And Um, I saw a tweet, I think 2 days ago, that said, I always wonder what it would be like to see, World War II in real time action. And he was like, and then I immediately regretted that thought
Right.
because it's horrible. Like to see there's a video out there with a MiG 29 basically at 75. He has to be below 100 feet,
Oh yeah.
but 75 feet shooting rockets into a like civilian neighborhood. Like what military target do you have there?
Right. Yeah.
And the kid crying, it just gives you chills. It's bad.
Yeah, it gives you perspective. I don't know. A lot of you may not know what's going on with me, but I'm currently not flying for addressing some mental health stuff from some of my previous days in the Air Force, and I'm just thinking about like me from that perspective, right? Like when being in Afghanistan, strafing or dropping bombs, like now you see what it's like in the house next door, right? And it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy
Yeah,
to
it
think about it
is.
from that perspective. But hopefully, my thoughts are, dude, I hope we're at a time in human like communication and collaboration where we can find, I don't know what the answer is, but hopefully we can find a not World War III type answer to this problem.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully Russia comes to the table and is like, this is what we want and why, and we can come to a peaceful solution.
Yeah.
Who knows with Russia? They're, you know,
Yeah, I'm kind of watching. I'm watching all this, thinking and wondering, like, this doesn't. Yeah, all the news is saying like all out war, right? Like, this doesn't look like all out war. Like, it looks very calculated. So I'm kind of worried about what's going on. Truly, what their end goal is. But
yeah. Well, I think, and again, we're not going to get into politics, but it's not all out war yet.
right,
Um,
yeah,
if they try to do anything else, then potentially it could be. But at this point, like, who knows? Who knows what'll happen?
cool. Well, that's probably enough on that. But
Yep.
it's kind of the beauty of gaming as a passion and a hobby, right? Like you've played games with people from all around the world. Like you can find that connection with people, even Russian people. Games can allow us to kind of escape the ugliness of the world and enjoy a little bit of uh,
Yeah. Just escape for a little
disassociation.
while.
Yeah, from reality.
Yeah. It's nice.
Cool. If you got any more thoughts on what's going on in the Ukraine, or any listeners happen to be out there in that part of the world, then go ahead and you can either email us at omgpodcastgg@gmail.com. And we've got a listener who did email us this last week that we'll bring up later in the show here, but you can reach us that way. Awesome. We'll move on from there. Overall, guys, just give you a reminder of how this show is going to work. Packer Matt says, "Sup, guys? Glad to have you here, man."
Yeah,
For
Matt,
the
thanks for joining.
basic roadmap, we're just going to talk gaming headlines, releases, our games radar, and then we'll get into a major topic of the week, which for this week, we are going to talk about gaming pay models. So just all the different ways that you can give your money to a corporation to play video games and what that kind of means for your day-to-day. After that, dude, we'll talk about what Swift and I played this week in the video game realm, and then we'll just BS until you want us to shut up, and then we'll keep talking.
That's right.
Cool. How's that sound?
I love it.
You're
I don't
for
know
it?
if they love it,
You're for it? All right.
but
Cool, man. We'll move on with that. We will get into the news for the week in gaming. All right. So, first on the docket this week, Call of Duty, the series, is reportedly taking a break until possibly 2024 when it comes to actual new mainline game releases. So, if you think about it, right, the one constant we've had since we graduated high school is that every year you get to buy and play a new Call of Duty game, right?
yeah,
Like,
and I've bought a lot of them.
yeah, I think no crap. It's been since 2005. They've released a game every year.
Yeah,
You think about all those good ones in there: Black Ops, Modern
Modern Warfare 2.
Warfare 2.
Yeah,
There's been some gems and there's also been some flops. Uh,
true.
but you look at the gaming landscape of today, and a huge percentage of people who play video games play Call of Duty games.
Yeah.
Um, what are your thoughts on this? You know anything? You got any insider information now that you've been doing this podcast for a week?
Yeah, with my week of experience, dude. So, I saw the initial report that there was going to be no Call of Duty game in 2023, and then on Twitter again, I can't verify the source or if it actually came from the company, but I think I saw a couple tweets here that said potentially that's not true, and they're going to have a new game next year. Who knows what that does? I honestly feel like that maybe it's good for the community to just get kind of used to a game for 2 years. Again, the having to level guns to level 70 and
Yeah.
the grind of every game is absurd. So maybe 2 years is a better timeline for each COD game. But as far as I know, in at least the Twitterverse, that is not true, and they will release a COD game next year.
Cool. So there you have it, folks. Mark it on your calendar. Next year, Swiftmida says they will release one.
Yeah. Don't hold me to it.
So here's what I know, just based on doing a little bit of research, right? Treyarch is supposed to be behind the next release. So this is not including the one that's already supposed to come out in 2022, the Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, Modern Warfare 2 / Warzone 2.
Warzone 2. Okay, so that's still coming out this year.
Yep.
But next year, supposedly, according to this article, Treyarch is going to be delayed until past 2023. Conflicting data on that, right? But these are the guys that made Black Ops, kind of generally regarded as like everyone loves it when Treyarch makes a COD game. But yeah, I see a little bit in here, right? Big Eats in the chat says Vanguard was a flop, and I agree. And
I don't know. I actually kind of enjoyed Vanguard, other than the fact that everyone was running around with combat shotguns in multiplayer.
Right.
I mean, come on.
It's a whole nother landscape now that you have Warzone, right? Because like even if the game itself sucks, it could still be considered good if it plays well into Warzone.
Right, and I think that's part of the problem is because you have Warzone. If you don't log into Vanguard every day and level guns, then you're behind.
Yeah,
massively.
I have that problem with you guys. I don't have time to level my Vanguard guns, so I'm running around like praying that one of you will drop a good gun when you get your loadout.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think the delay might be good. We talked about this last week, right? But like, games are getting rushed every release, and so
they come out incomplete,
buggy.
Like, yeah.
We'll get into more of that when we'll find out how your experience with the new and improved Cyberpunk 2077 went. Cool. So if you're a Call of Duty fan, I don't know, keep up in the Twitterverse and figure out what's going on. And if you got any news about it, you can go ahead and reach us at OMG Podcast GG on Instagram and Twitter, and we'll figure out what's going on there.
I also got I was on FaceTime with my mom earlier, and my parents, both my parents, and my mom was like, "Hey, it might be good to do something for people who aren't gamers and how to get into gaming." And I will say, and I'm sure you will say this too, but I don't recommend Call of Duty Warzone for a new gamer.
Yeah, no, you will not enjoy your time.
No, it's horrible.
Swift has got a good recommendation for new game players. We'll pass when we get into games we played this week. In the form of Fall Guys, but cool. Yeah, my I think my old man is in here somewhere, and I remember him playing the first Age of Empires ad nauseum when that was out on like Windows 95.
Yeah.
He was like he played that game probably 10 years past like no one ever told him that another video game was made. So
Dude, they stopped making them at that point.
I went all the way into high school and I'd come home like from practice or whatever school and you would hear it and he'd be home from work and you just hear burr, burr. Oh, someone's attacking my dad again. He only ever played the computer, but cool. He might be the best Age of Empires 1 player ever and he'll never know.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Next on the docket for news, we're going to try a little something new here. See if you guys can see what we got going on the screen. See if this works for the viewers on Twitch. All right. So yesterday, the Steam Deck, if anyone's tracking this is basically like a Nintendo Switch style handheld gaming machine released by Valve. The first batch of emails went out yesterday, so we wanted to plug this news article so that you can check your promotional folders, your spam folders if you pre-ordered this thing, because you only get 72 hours to respond and pay for it to get it shipped. And these things are going like hotcakes. So if you see on the screen here, if you don't know what this thing is about, essentially you can play a full up computer game on your Steam library right on this handheld. Excuse me. Looks like right there he's playing Final Fantasy, maybe?
I think so.
But yeah, this thing is anyways, we got some other podcasters talking, but yeah, this thing is full up basically a computer in a tablet form that you can play games on. I've got one pre-ordered. I haven't got the email, but overall, this may kind of change the landscape of gaming. What are your thoughts on this thing, dude? You have a Switch, right?
I do have a Switch. Yeah. I enjoy the Switch. Particularly because it's Nintendo games. I think I would. I don't know. It's tough to say. I think maybe the Steam Deck is okay. So overall, I think the Steam Deck is a really cool idea because you can play all the games that you typically play on the computer or whatever. I just don't know that I would use it personally because I'm pretty like, dude, when I come home from work, Shannon will hate me for saying this because she wants to spend time with me, but I say hello to my wife and I pet my dog real quick, and then I come up here on a day-to-day basis to play and explore the internet/games. So for me, probably not good. For overall, I think it's smart for them to get this thing out and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. I kind of agree. Like, I don't think you'll ever be able to replace the feeling of sitting down at a computer or like console in front of a big screen and kind of getting after it.
Yeah.
But we will talk about Half-Life, not an F-16. Don't you worry. Not today, but we will because I love that game. But the Steam Deck, you'll be able to play Half-Life. All right, so here's the big things about this thing. Only certain games will be Steam Deck compatible. It's marketed as a...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's marketed as a full-up computer. It's going to be running Linux, if anyone knows anything about that. But so it's not Windows, and it's running its own operating system. But technically, you could install anything on it that you could install on a computer as long as it's compatible.
Do you know when you ordered it? Did it say how many gigabytes it had? Did you get to pick that?
Yeah, so you did. There were some options about internal storage and kind of screen stuff.
Yeah,
I think I picked the middle of the road. Price point was like somewhere around $400. So you're thinking like console.
Yeah.
But what you're paying for at this price point, so console type price point, you're paying for a computer that can travel with you. It's kind of unheard of in this industry for something like that to be out. So here's how I see this thing going. It's gonna be it's gonna be like a stepping stone machine. They're not selling
Okay.
them in stores, retail stores. Like you're not gonna get this thing at Best Buy or Walmart. They're only orderable through Steam or through Valve.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's not going to be, I'm not going to see this thing as like a mainstream gaming machine. It's going to be for the very niche, like gamers who want this as an option.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to bringing you guys more news about this. I have read some initial reviews from like some tech people who've gotten it hands on early. And they're kind of saying that it feels unfinished software wise.
Interesting.
So they say it feels really good, like all of it just feels real nice, and it looks really nice. The two things they're kind of complaining about is that it doesn't feel finished software wise, like things aren't really running very smoothly. There's a lot of glitches, and this thing comes out next week, so standard what we talked about last week, right? Things not ready, but forcing them to
Yeah.
ship.
Yeah.
And then the battery life is 2 hours, which in the gaming world is
Oh, yeah.
what are you gonna do?
What you have to be plugged in the whole time that you play,
you might as well be
which
on a
makes
computer.
it kind of a moot point.
Yeah, but we'll see, man.
So, do you get like you pre-ordered yours? When do you know any? You have any idea when you get it?
I haven't gotten the email yet, but I will. This podcast will be the first place to know on our Twitter
Oh,
when I get my email.
other than
So
Jen.
other than Jen, she'll know first,
Yeah.
and then she'll be the first one to tell me I can't play it. Just kidding.
Yeah.
That I am kind of excited for that because I can play these games that I can't play with her, like with her with this thing. Nope. All right, moving on. Cool. There is one other cool thing I want to talk about with this, and that they are announcing that it's fully repairable slash moddable. So, like, can you imagine if Nintendo said, "Yeah, we don't care if you open up your Switch and put more memory in it or whatever. You can fix the screen if you want." So, Valve has announced that they're working with a I can't remember exactly what the service is called, but it's a company that fixes cell phones and things like that. And they're going to
Okay.
supply parts and be able to fix things for you, which is kind of unheard of in this industry. So, what are your thoughts on that? You going to buy this thing and go Tony Stark in your garage?
Again, I don't think so.
Okay.
I I don't. I barely, dude. It's bad on me, but like I have enough going on, and I'm sure you do with a wife and 2 kids. Like I don't find myself playing my Switch enough.
Yeah,
So
that's kind of what I'm like.
yeah. I don't know. I enjoy playing on computer and when I get the time. But I don't think this is. It's super exciting as far as the reach of video games goes. Specific, for specific games. But for me, like, nah, I think I'm good on the computer for now.
Agreed. This thing is going to turn into something where it's just another thing where my 4-year-old can go, "Can I have that? Can I play that? I want that."
Yeah.
Mark my words. All right, cool. All right, if you have any thoughts, anything exciting that you want to bring up about the Steam Deck, you know where to find us.
Yes,
Cool.
sir.
And in a caveat or a segue to the next news article, let's see what you think about this. But Elden Ring is out. So the From Software Souls-like game is out, and this thing is getting perfect reviews all over the place.
Yeah.
Have you played any of the Dark Souls?
So I will tell you, I played Dark Souls 3. I bought it for PS4 and was so stoked about it because again, rave reviews. But I played it for like an hour and a half and died like 79 times and was over
Okay.
it. I just could not do it. So for people that are out there playing this game, I watched on Twitch. It looks really good. The game looks amazing.
Yeah.
But for people out there just suffering through the pain of leveling in this game, or I don't even know if you level or if you grind, whatever it is for gear. Good for you. You know, hats off to you, because I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I agree, man. We talked about it last week, but I am so bad at these games, which sucks because
It's
they're
so
very
bad.
they're very story driven, which is I'm a sucker for,
Yeah,
like a good fantasy story. But
absolutely. How can you not be?
right, so I'll try to play these games wanting to like know the story, and I can't beat more than a couple. It's just a waste of time, waste of money.
No,
But
dude, I think I saw. So I was watching some. Who was I watching? Summit earlier,
yeah,
who's a big time streamer. Um, I think in the span of like 3 hours that I watched him, he died. No kidding, 50 times because like you just can't do it unless you know the mechanics of the fight. So again, for you people who are trying to get into games, Elden Ring, not for you.
highly
Um,
unrecommended.
yeah. Um, but it's just crazy to me that people just suffer through this madness of dying constantly. Like it's literally banging your nugget against the wall for 2 hours until you beat said boss. And the bosses happen very quickly from when you start, based on what I've seen from Lost Ark.
Yeah, you're
Like
just like in it.
you kill a couple people and then you're in a boss fight, and it's like, well, here we go.
Yeah, it's like Zelda boss fights on steroids, and
Yeah.
it's just too hard for me.
No,
I don't
yeah,
know. Maybe I just don't have
too
the brain
much.
the brain type for it.
Yeah.
Cool, but yeah, man, this thing is being highly reviewed by critics and players alike. There were some reports of issues running on PC, so From Software did issue a tweet today that said there's a patch in the works. So never fear, your hours and hours of punching yourself in the head is going to be restored soon.
Yeah.
Um, I know this game had a lot of hype, and for that to be really like the only things people are saying are issues with it, that's a good sign that
I agree.
they didn't rush or release something that wasn't ready. So
Yeah,
that's
people
good.
aren't complaining about glitches or whatever in the map or
Right.
bosses, whatever it happens to be.
Yeah, man. Cool. So if you're an Elden Ring person, why don't you go ahead and
Slash just a fan of pain.
just go ahead and play that. Send us your review so we can get an idea of what it's like from
Yeah.
listeners that we trust, and then we'll talk about it. But cool. We will move on, dude, to the games radar. Cool. We talked about a lot of what's on the horizon here last week. Looking at what we've got in store for us over the next month or so, it's going to be a little bit of a dry desert for most of your main line games that you're hoping and waiting for. So, really, the only highlights that I found for you for next month in March is and not even a new game. Grand Theft Auto 5 is releasing its next gen console version. So, how many times had this game been released? I had it on Xbox One, I think, the first game I bought on that.
Yeah. Grand Theft Auto 5 has been out for I don't know the actual date. I feel like
2012 or 2013, I think.
yeah, I feel like 10 years this game has been
But
with us.
it never stops, dude. People love that game. Did you
I
play that game?
know. I have not played Grand Theft Auto 5. I played the early Grand Theft Autos when I was on console.
Yeah.
Um, I have not played Grand Theft Auto 5. I see people when I log into Facebook. People are doing challenges as far as like driving a obstacle course with cars. I mean, I feel like Grand Theft Auto Online
Oh yeah, it's
now
a
is
huge
it's a
community.
massive thing that I feel like if you don't understand it, is probably overwhelming.
It's kind of like Second Life now. Like people just live in there.
Yeah, agreed. Like they play it constantly, and there's so many different like you said, niche like weird things that you can do in the game that I don't know. I'm gonna stick to my three typical games.
Yeah, I kind of played that when it first came out. and we just ran through like the main story and it's really good. If you do have a chance someday to go back and play some older games, I would put that one high up there on your list because it's really really good.
Also, for the listeners, if you're trying to get into gaming, Grand Theft Auto might be a much more nice way to get into gaming. Not nice as far as
if you're into killing
civility.
hookers and robbing
Yeah,
banks,
not
then
not nice as far as civility, but nice as far as like gameplay. Potentially a game to start with, I guess. But yeah, if you're not into running people over with cars and getting the cops called on you, probably not the game for you.
steer clear. But yeah, it is. I will say it is a forgiving game to learn, and
Yep.
it has a very cinematic, like movie feel to the story, so you can get along with that. Yeah, that's not a bad recommendation for a get into the gaming world.
Yeah.
Cool, dude. Other than that, big announcements coming out. They also announced that Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out someday. So
Yeah.
that was the announcement.
Yeah, dude, I saw it on Twitter, and one day you will get Grand Theft Auto 6. No one knows when. I've seen a lot on Twitter as far as what's to come, but no one knows. There's literally a Twitter page called Grand Theft Auto. I forget what it's called exactly, but Grand Theft Auto Countdown, and it's basically days since the announcement is what we have for now.
It's the only thing they can count down or count from or to.
Yeah, exactly. So,
cool. Well, all right. So stand by for that. Other than that, guys, you're going to be waiting a little bit longer. And the reason why you got all these games that came out in February and then a drought a little bit here in March is a lot of these games that just came out, they were all delayed from the winter/fall of 2021. And everyone seemed to choose end of February/mid-February to release. So that's why you got Elden Ring, Horizon, Forbidden West, Lost Ark. You got all these things this month. And so you've had enough. And that's what you get until the next good thing comes out.
That's what you get. So play the campaigns, because so far I've enjoyed at least Lost Ark.
All right, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's the games radar for this week, and we will get back to you next week if we hear anything more on the scope. Cool. Anything else to add with that, dude? Other things you're excited about, gaming wise or life wise, coming up?
I think so. I do have we'll circle back to the Ukraine stuff just real quick.
Okay.
But we can do that later if you want.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay, so I forgot to bring it up when we were talking about it, but I don't know if any of the viewers have been /listeners have been following Ukraine. I'm sure all of you have, because everyone has social media at this point. But if you haven't seen, I'm going to read a quote here. Apparently, there's a Ukrainian Fulcrum pilot who's already chalked off 6 air-to-air kills to date against Russian forces. 6. He's being called the Ghost of Kyiv, which I learned yesterday in a brief from Intel. That's how you actually pronounce it.
Kyiv, not Kiev.
Yeah. And we got a text from the, again, pilots. We all have it's a small circle. So we got a text from the bros over in Europe who said it is 100% true as far as the ghost story is concerned. So they said, yep, his name is Colonel whatever, I'm going to omit his name. Grey Wolf was his call sign. He was based at our sister squadron. So honestly, I just wanted to bring it up. I think it's really cool. It gives me chills to think about, especially being an F-16 pilot, like getting in the war, like doing the thing, shooting down other jets. That's the dream, right? So I just wanted to bring that up. You've heard it on the news potentially, but this dude is, I mean,
Yeah, I
the
mean,
most. Um, uh, he's a legend. They need to make a movie, or like Craig said yesterday, they need to make a game about him. Call the next
Ace Combat Grey Wolf.
Ace Combat game. Yeah.
I mean, as a young budding fighter pilot, like what did we sit around and talk about? Right? It was like
Yeah, dude,
I want to
that's
fly
the
against the
dream.
MiG, and he shut down
Yes, it's the
5
dream.
in one day.
And the fact that he did it in a MiG 29, which is, for anybody that doesn't know, like planes, is like one of the least capable fighters at this point in society.
Modern, yeah.
And he shot down much more advanced fighters. Like, dude, it's crazy and it's amazing to talk about. Like I said, it gives me chills. It's so good. They need to make, this guy is a legend.
Yeah, crazy. Cool story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always funny how there always seems to be like one pilot that kind of becomes like the legendary story of these wars, right? And
Yeah.
this one's only a few days old.
Yeah.
Red
It's
Baron,
literally
and
like
yeah,
56 hours old at this
right,
point.
crazy.
Yeah.
Ugly times, but cool story there.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, man. Let's get into our major topic of the week. This week we're going to be talking about gaming pay models, our thoughts about them, and what we think about how we give our money to other companies.
All right.
Cool. All right, so let's get into some kind of examples, right? So you got your one-time pays, right? You think of this like the old days where you walked into Toys R Us or Game Freak. Remember those?
GameStop.
GameStop nowadays. Remember
Yeah.
what was it? EB Games?
Yeah.
I think that's still a thing in Canada. But yeah, you'd walk in there and you were not 18 years old, but Halo was rated M for mature, and you were like, "Oh man, I hope this guy doesn't stop me."
Yeah.
But this is like you buy the game, you have it, and that's the game. There's no DLCs. There's no whatever. There may what kind of keep
For viewers that, or listeners that don't know what that is, that's downloadable content.
downloadable content. So this is just a game you buy, you play it, and that's it. That what you get is what you get.
Yep.
Cool. That is kind of becoming a rarity. So
It is.
think like Last of Us, the God of War games, most Mario games.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. So, all right. So, what kind of rabbit holes did this one-time purchase lead down, dude? Well, we talked about it last week, but remasters. So you think you own the game until 10 years later when they remake the game.
Yep. And we kind of hit on this last week as far as the, like, there's no real, other than like games like Elden Ring, there's really no direction, as far as making new games.
Right.
It's a lot of the games that come out are remasters of old games, like Mario, or Zelda, like Majora's Mask, like you're talking about on Switch last week.
Right. Yeah. So that's one way we give our money to companies, and I just thought it was interesting because yeah, Majora's Mask. If I were to buy this one on Switch or like pay for the subscription, right, to be able to play it,
Yeah.
that means I would have bought that game because I had it on Nintendo 64. I think I bought it on 3DS. I think I bought it for my wife on 3DS, and so like you end up paying for the same game, and it kind of leads to the question like, at some point, I should just be able to pay for something and have it forever
And keep it. Yeah.
and keep
And
it.
that beauty of computers, right, these days. But I will agree with you. Like I think I paid for Legend of Zelda. There's been multiple instances of me paying for games that I literally have previously already even beat. Like I
Right.
beat what's it called? Yeah, we're gonna skip that for now. But
Hello Kitty's Island Adventure.
yeah, not quite. The Witcher 3.
Oh yeah.
I beat that on console, and then when we were deployed, I bought it again for PC because I was like, this game was awesome. Let me play it again. And then I spent 12 minutes on PC and was like, no, I already did this. I'm done. I'm over it.
Yeah, agreed. Skyrim, perfect example.
Skyrim's another great example.
So I had it on Xbox One, maybe 360. That game is old.
It is.
Then I had it on computer. Then I had it on Switch. Then I bought the VR version.
Dude, how is the VR version? Are you falling over all the time, or running in the couches?
Cool. It's cool, but if you have motion sickness, there's no like, you can move any way you want, and so
I would get sick.
You'd probably fall over and get sick. Yeah, that was the only VR game I've ever played where I was like, I don't know how long I can do this, and I kind of stopped. Yeah, dude. So yeah, one-time fees may not be one-time fees. Is kind of what we're getting at there.
Yeah.
Cool, but this is kind of like my preferred way to play a game. If I would hope that most companies would do this, but this is kind of a dying breed overall.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Usually you got what you would call a more game as a service type model, which we'll talk to next. So subscription type based payments. So games where you either buy the game in itself, you may or may not, but then you pay monthly or yearly, whatever, to be able to keep playing that game. So examples: World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy 14. So those games, and we talked a little bit about this last week, but let's get into the just the ugly truth of this. World of Warcraft, I've been playing since I'm no longer playing, but I played up until probably last year. I played that game since 2008 or 2007.
Yeah.
And they charge you what?
$15
a month.
$15 a month
For 14 years, 15 years.
Yep.
So someone in chat, run those numbers real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's a lot.
It's a lot of money to play a game that you may only play in a certain month, like sometimes 0 hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude.
Games, when I started, I think I started playing. I think about the same time as you, 2007. I was a senior in high school at Spang in Germany. And my buddy's like, hey, come play this game. It's going to be really fun. And I did it. And now I think, just looking back as far as the actual costs of, okay, so what do we got?
$3,000 basically.
Craig said $3,000. Yeah. So it's so much money over the span of time to play a game like that. And I think Final Fantasy was $14 a month, but bottom line, it's a lot of money to play, and especially a lot of money to not play when you get lost in other games.
Yeah, it kind of leads you to wonder at some point, will subscriptions be more regulated by the government? Because like, how much money do you think companies make from people who don't even use the service that they're paying for because they forgot to cancel or whatever? And the worst is when that company that you're trying to cancel from doesn't make it easy. Like, I remember back in the day for Xbox Live, you couldn't just go onto the website and cancel or like pause. You had to call, and it took like 30 minutes, and they made it so painful on purpose. I don't think
most people just hang up. They're just like, screw it. I'll pay the $15. I don't care.
So here's our word to the wise. If you have a subscription to something that you aren't entirely sure you're going to play all the time,
cancel it.
Cancel it right after you pay for it. Because this is how it works. They get you for a month, and then if you cancel it right after you pay for it, they go, okay, your account's good until this date. And then set an alarm on your phone or whatever, and since it's already canceled, if you forget about it, you don't have to worry about it. But then next time, if you want to keep playing, if it's worth it, then that'll remind you to re-up your subscription instead of just pouring $3,000 over the last few years into something that, yeah, you got some fun out of, but definitely not $3,000 worth of fun.
Yeah, that's insane. Thank you, Craig, for doing the math. But geez, that is so much money for nothing returned.
Yeah. Cool. So subscriptions, man, just be careful with them because that's like the way these days. Everyone wants you to subscribe. It's funny because
New
back in the day,
hotness.
the only people that wanted you to subscribe were stupid magazines. Remember that?
Yeah.
And they had it right. Now everyone wants you to subscribe. By the way, if you're enjoying this podcast, please like and subscribe. The best way you can support us is just hit that little heart button to follow, and then you'll get notifications when we go live. Share with your friends if you like what you're hearing. If you're on listen on podcasts, just go ahead and leave us a rating or even just a review. Tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what we're doing wrong, and we'll try to improve there.
Yeah,
Sega
we appreciate
Channel.
you.
Oh,
We
that's a
appreciate
good
you
call.
all. We appreciate you all being here.
Sega
It's
Channel did have a
fun
subscription
for us.
Awesome. Okay, so I do want to bring up one thing for the subscription model that I do think is actually a good value if you have the time and resources to take advantage of it, and it's Xbox Game Pass. Are you a
Yeah.
Game Pass guy?
I'm not anymore. I used to be.
Yeah, and so you made the smart decision probably because you weren't using it enough to cancel.
Yeah, I was not using it. So that was one of the ones where I was actually fiscally responsible and
Nailed it.
canceled it.
Cool. So if you don't know what this is, Xbox allows you to subscribe to this huge library of games that you can play without paying for them, right? You just download them onto your hard drive, and as long as you're a subscriber, you can play. But the cool thing is, it includes Xbox Live. So if you're going to be an Xbox Live subscriber, you might as well just do this anyways. And it works both on PC, Xbox, like iPad. You can make xCloud gaming work. Like you can play and it'll just stream the game. So for as much money as you would pay for Xbox Live, you can play this huge library of games, not for free, but essentially free value wise. What were your thoughts when you had it? Did you play some games that you may not have?
I did. Yeah, I played. I can't remember exact. It's been a few years, so I can't remember specifics. But I played a few games that I probably typically wouldn't have, and just got to broaden. I would say, I don't know like the games exactly, but broaden the horizon as far as an actual gamer is concerned, and it was good, and it leads to being critical as far as the future is concerned / games now, I think.
Yeah, for me, I'm still a Game Pass subscriber, and it's really cool because some of I'm kind of trying to get involved in the gaming industry as like a game development / artist, and it lets me kind of explore the stuff about games that I like to see art and like environments, and so I can play games that I would never have paid for much less fraction of the cost, and see just kind of get the most bang for my buck. But there's been some funny times where Jen we'll be laying down in bed and I'll start playing some random indie game, and she's like, how do you play this stupid game like this?
Yeah.
So to each his own, but you can find some gems on Game Pass.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of good games out there that people aren't overhyping. Like when you look at Twitch, everybody's playing Call of Duty. Call of Duty Warzone, Lost Ark, Warzone, Apex, Warzone, Lost Ark, Warzone. Yeah. So everybody's playing the same games, but if you do something like this, then you can find some really good games that aren't really talked about.
Yeah, cool. Check it out. Game Pass is definitely a good option if you find yourself liking to dabble in the dark arts that is especially indie games.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, dude. Anything else on subscriptions that you thought of?
Nope.
The subscription model? All right, next is the one to buyer beware, and by buyer I mean not buyer, are free to play
Yeah.
games. So I call these gotcha games, right? So if you think about it, someone who spends time hiring people to develop and create a game that you don't have to pay for probably has a trick up their sleeve, right?
Yeah.
So these games are purposely designed to get you in, get you hooked, they'll sprinkle a little crack on you, and then and then they got you, right? And so then you're like, oh, cool. And then they kind of put something in your face like, oh, check out the store where you can buy such and such. So examples
Yeah.
for this are like Warzone,
Oh.
right? Call of Duty Warzone.
Oh
Lost,
yeah. When you log in on Warzone the first time, and
yeah.
there's the store where it's a max level gun with all the right attachments, you're just like, well, I have to do that to
Oh, I
be
need
any
that.
sort of competitive.
Yeah. And so what they do is they make you just a super goober without any of this stuff. And then
Yeah.
they kind of throw some stuff at you that, I mean, I'm all for supporting the companies that make games that I like to play. I have no problem with that.
No.
I don't like it when I kind of feel like I'm being swindled into spending money. So the way I think about this is when they don't tell you how much you're paying for something. All games do this now, which I hate. I think should be illegal. But they make you buy some fake currency to then spend in the store.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So like Call of Duty points or Bing Bang Bong bucks or whatever in whatever game you're playing, right?
Yeah.
And so you're like, after you buy them, and then you're like, all right, now if you want this skin, you need to spend this many doubloons. And you're like, I don't really know how much money I'm spending right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it kind of feels dishonest. You know what I mean? The first one's free, kid. Yeah. So I don't know. Lost Ark. I haven't seen much of this yet in Lost Ark. What are your thoughts?
Um I honestly haven't either. I think I'm level 27 now or something like that. I have not. So I pulled up the store accidentally by hitting random buttons on my keyboard. Um,
Don't panic,
um,
dude. Don't panic.
yeah. Sometimes things get hectic, you know. Um, but I haven't like dove into the store or anything, so I I don't know. But again, like we said last week, I was watching Asmongold, and he said like particularly for myself as a berserker in Lost Ark, there was a sword on someone's back, and he was like, and someone in the chat was like, "Oh, how do you get that?" And he was like, "Oh, well, you pay $100 for it." So I know that there's advantages to be had if you are willing to spend your money. But again, I have not specifically um, dealt with anything in the store yet. I'm
Yeah.
just avoiding it. I'm not trying to spend my money on Lost Ark in particular, but just video games in general.
Yeah. So
Other
buyer
than buying the
beware,
video
guys.
game,
Yeah.
obviously.
At least know what you're paying for is kind of my general philosophy. These games,
Yeah.
I find myself like having to like, because there's some cool stuff in there, but you're really not paying for something real. Like you don't own it. It's just a digital made up thing that it gives you access to.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Which is cool, but
yeah.
at the same time, like, dude, if you don't have the money, like, stop it.
These are the games that you hear about in the news, right? Like kid or mom suing Epic Games because son racked up a $15,000 Fortnite
Yeah.
bill.
Oh, exactly.
Uh,
Exactly. Kids just on there, click, 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 buying all the
mom's
things.
credit cards on the computer already. He's just going to
Yeah.
town.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, dude. I think I still probably remember my parents' credit card from back in the day, but just kidding. I wasn't one of those guys. All right. Cool. So watch out for free to play games. They can be fun. Just don't get addicted because they'll get you.
Don't buy the things if you can't afford it.
Yeah. Cool. And then there's probably a lot more out there, but basically what you have mostly today is kind of a mix and match of all of it, right? You either
Yeah.
do or don't buy the game to start, and then you probably get downloadable content for most games. And then some games have expansions that you have to pay for extra, like Destiny is a perfect example. And then this is the big one that all games use nowadays is battle passes.
Oh yeah, gotta pay for the battle
It
pass.
doesn't matter what game you play, there's battle passes involved. So I kind of like that because that's me saying like, hey, I can play the game, and if I want to give a little bit of extra support to the developer, I'll get some cool goodies along the way. But it's not kind of required.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So that's kind of what you have nowadays is just a mix and match smorgasbord of how people steal your money. And by steal, I mean provide you something of value for your hard-earned dollars.
By steal, you voluntarily offer up your credit card.
Yeah. All right, dude. Any others that you can think of? Any other like payment models, payment plan type? How do,
I
how do
don't,
you how do you give your money to games?
I don't think so. I think that's it.
Cool. Dude, life summary. Be careful. You have to remember that this is a business. Just because you're passionate about it doesn't mean that they're not going to take advantage of you. Your money is the commodity that they care about. And the less that they have to do in order to earn that money from you, the better, right? The less work they have to put in to get that money. Yeah. So just be careful. Don't waste your money. Unless you got enough money to waste, then throw me some
Yeah.
down there at the donate page,
Then
right
throw us
below the stream.
a follow and subscribe,
Yeah, there you
once
go.
we get it. From Craig, it said, suggested topic from Jess, can they do an episode on in-game outfits and cosmetics or the progression of in-game clothing over time?
That's not a bad idea. Just talking about, I think in WoW it's called transmog. In Final Fantasy they call it, I can't remember, but yeah, it's a whole
No.
ecosystem of like how to make your person look cool.
All right, we'll add that to the docket of the next one, Jess. We appreciate your suggestion.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Nana F16 says, I once got bullied by a wallet warrior in GOW. What is that? Guild. What's that mobile game that everyone plays? Or that got real big?
Oh, I have no idea.
They'll write it, but yeah. Sometimes Game of War.
Game of War.
Yeah.
You got bullied?
Yeah, he probably spent his hard-earned time on the toilet building his little empire, and then some guy came in who spent $3,000 and just steamrolled him.
Yeah.
No pun intended on steamroll, but
It's like Clash of Clans, right? That was that
yeah,
mobile
that's another
game
one.
for solo, where you had to build things, but you could spend your money to build it faster.
Yeah, mobile games are the king of gotcha games. So
Oh yeah,
that's their business model. So be careful. Cool, dude. That's all we got to say for the major topic of the week. If you have any other suggestions like Jess did, then you can send them to omgpodcastgg@gmail.com or contact us on Instagram or Twitter, and we will try to get that into an episode. All right, dude. Let's get into what we played this week.
okay.
All right. So, like everyone knows, I'm a huge Destiny guy right now. So I played a lot of Destiny. I got the little collector's edition dude over there. If you can't see, that's a Hive ghost. So if you don't know what's going on in that story, big things, big changes. So Swift, myself, and Craig, some other people in the chat, we were playing Destiny probably too late last night, but
Way too late.
we got to talk about the elephant in the room for Swift and Craig's Destiny. Oh, and Joe Destiny experience. We've been playing on the Become Legend difficulty. Thoughts on that?
And it was horrible.
What's wrong, dude? You look like you've seen some stuff.
cannot tell you. So typically Destiny 2, yeah, it's difficult when you go to bosses, blah blah blah. But when we were just doing standard stuff on legend difficulty, it was brutal. Like
We're talking like
you
one bad
could,
guy.
yeah,
All
like
three of
you
us have to
could not.
shoot a whole.
I know some people don't understand, but one knight, which is a big dude with a lot of health and a shield to start off, and you would shoot at this guy. We would shoot at him for 5 minutes, and he would be half health, and then all of a sudden he would dip behind a whatever, a wall, and pop back out with full health and full shield. And on the bosses, we literally, Taze, what do we want to say about this? As far as how long we spent on bosses last night.
I think my wife is still on, but I think Easy was listening in on the in-game audio that we were having with each other, in-game chat. He was playing a different game, and
yeah.
He said we were going at it on one boss for like 35 minutes, and then we died and had to start all over. So.
Start from the very beginning of the boss.
All right, so the theme of this episode that we'll go back to is if you're starting out in video games and you're looking for something to play.
Not your game.
Destiny 2 maybe, but do not pick.
Oh, yeah.
Become Legend difficulty.
Could be fun, but don't go Legend because you will regret it. I was sitting up here right where I am right now. We're playing. After like the second time we died to a boss, I had to take my hoodie off, my hat off.
I'm sweating.
I was sweating because it's crazy.
Yeah, so totally worth it if you're into that thing. Go ahead and join us on our Discord, and I'll get you the invite so we can experience the pain together.
If you're into like we talked about earlier, Dark Souls.
It's
that type of pain, Elden Ring, then please go Legendary. But other than that, don't do it. It's not worth it.
All right. We know what setting we're gonna pick from now on when you're around. I had a great time. I'm still loving that game. I think the expansion is really good so far. From what I can tell so far, it's the best story they've told so far.
It is a really good story. And it's so fun overall. Even when you're dying, you're having a good time.
Yeah, agreed. I did find something also really cool. It's not necessarily associated with the Witch Queen, but it's the 30th anniversary for Bungie, and they released this game mode in there where you can get some weapons that match and look like the original Halo weapons. That's because Bungie used to own or make Halo before 343. And so it's really cool seeing like a Halo style weapon in Destiny 2.
Yeah, dude, you're going to have to drag me through a couple of those because I want some.
It's really cool. But like I said before, that's not a free part of that game. You're going to have to buy that extra.
Yeah.
Which how that works.
I think it's $24.99. Not crazy expensive, but still an expense.
Yeah. We got some other listeners in there who say they get clammy hands when they're playing video games. My wife being one of them.
Yeah, well, it happens to the best of us,
Cool. Yeah, my son's like that when he's playing Switch and you take the controller from him. It's like you're 4 years old and this thing is like slimy.
Dripping.
I don't get it. All right. Cool. That's Destiny, dude. Any other thoughts on that?
No.
We did get a couple of other dudes in our gaming group addicted, so glad to see they're enjoying their time, even if it was
absolutely
a little more than they bargained for. Cool. Next, I spent the rest of my time basically playing Lost Ark, and you guys all heard my kind of thoughts about this game, at least prediction wise. But this game it's really fun. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. Like, a game should be fun at its very core, right? The buttons that you're pressing, interacting with your mind. Cool game.
Yeah.
Like, like I don't know what else to say. Like I just feel awesome when I'm my little chick running around blasting.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of impossible not to have fun when you're playing this game
Right.
because I think all of the characters, um, just ability wise, you just hop like immediately you hop into battle. Um, you simulate it, kill a bunch of people. I know it's tough topic right now, but immediately you're like in the story, and I
Yeah.
think it's really fun to progress through. I think I've been paying attention to the story a little bit more than most people, um, and I think I've played. I'm level 26 now, so about halfway through to the end game, which I'm super excited to share with you guys when we get there. But the just the overall mechanics. Again,
Yeah.
if you're new to gaming, it's gonna be tough to like get into it because it's kind of difficult as far as the um, button pressing
Yeah, this
slash
game,
keybinds.
I think it's because it came from Korea.
Yeah,
But there's no training wheels. Like, you know how when you start World of Warcraft or even Final Fantasy, like you have one ability for like 5 levels when you start that game, and you're
yeah,
pressing one button for 5 levels.
yep.
This
And
game,
it kind of walks you through it,
oh
right?
yeah,
And you
and
have
you
to
learn
just in World of Warcraft. We talked about the South Park episode last week. You have to like kill boars for
hours.
for forever until you get a new ability.
This game goes,
It's,
here's 8
yeah,
abilities. Oh, by the way, the chick that I'm playing, you can change her gun type, and so she has 24 abilities right away. Uh,
yeah,
and they go, figure it out. And then you gain a level, and they go, all right, here's the skill system, and you're like, I have no idea where I should put
yeah.
this.
I don't know what I'm doing. And
But I
for
know it looks
experience,
cool.
yeah, that one looks cool. And for for experienced people like you and I who have been playing video games since we were toddlers, like you would think that it would be fairly simple, but it's not. And it is not easy to learn. It's not there's so the world of Lost Ark is so vast that it like there's so much stuff that you can do
Oh yeah.
that it's yeah.
So here's kind of my thoughts going for the. I think I'm level 19 right now. Not. I'm getting left behind by my friends. Great, thanks guys. But for my 20 levels that I played so far, the mechanics are unparalleled in this type of game. The story, not gonna lie, not not holding me, but I have been given good news by our good buddy Easy that it gets better. He's like at level 30 something, I think. Um, yeah, like I said, I'm a big sucker for a good story, and this, like, I don't even know the characters' names so far. Uh, I just find myself like mashing through the text, but hopefully it gets
Yeah.
better. But that's whatever. It is what it is when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I I also think like if you're into this type of game, the dungeons are awesome. The like cutscenes are super cinematic if you're not cutting through them like the stroke is. Um,
I'm not skipping the cutscenes. I'm skipping like the dialogue, like the
yeah,
reading.
yeah,
I just don't. It's not compelling so far.
got it. Um, but yeah, overall, I think the game is fun. And I think last week you mentioned skill gap as far as like you thought this was going to die because of potential skill gap.
Yeah.
Like like me and Asmongold wouldn't look the same. I can very much tell you that it looks very different because I died so many times on the first like level 20 dungeon, and I doubt he did. So I think it's all about again. It's yeah, it's a game, but it's very much skill based. If you can figure it out.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I'll walk back that statement a little bit, like kind of playing a little bit more. There's definitely some nuances to learning how your abilities chain together and work together, and how to avoid damage. And
Yep.
so I'll kind of walk that one back off the ledge. But I still don't think this game is going to last very long. But that's just kind of me thinking that the soup du jour of video gaming is just such a low attention span these days. That
It's gonna last a long time in my heart.
okay, okay, buddy. If you start spending real money on it, we got to talk.
No. I'm done with that.
Cool. And then that's it, dude. I didn't even play any Hearthstone this week.
Dude, the only other thing that I played this week. So you mentioned it earlier. I tried to play Cyberpunk. It didn't work. I got immediately logged out. Error code. I was just like, okay, I'm over this.
Cool. So
and then
all that talk we had about them fixing it, at least not for you.
Yeah, not for me.
Right.
And then the thing I was playing earlier was Fall Guys. And if you guys don't know about Fall Guys and you have a PC, I don't actually know if it's on console.
I think it is.
But if you don't have Fall Guys, I don't know. I highly recommend it for just it's just light. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a battle royale. Again, for somebody like just joining I had no kidding. So for people like joining the gaming community / logging on to games for the first time and trying to start it off, Fall Guys is fun. It's great. No kidding. A year ago, when Shannon and I were still dating, 2 years ago, whenever it was, I had her try Fall Guys on keyboard mouse. She couldn't quite figure it out. It was horrifying to watch. But Fall Guys is super fun. They call it a battle royale. It's not your typical battle royale. But basically you start out with 60 people and you have to make it through a race, and you're just this big like fluffy blob of nothing. So you just have to figure out the race, and it progressively goes down to the winner. So again, I recommend it to everybody. I played it earlier today. So the first time I played it in probably a year is I barely made it. I was 38 of 38 in the
last place
initial round. Yep, last place. And then I lost in the second round. But like whatever, then you just start over. So highly recommend. It's very entertaining. A lot of streamers were playing it right when it came out.
It kind of, remember that show on G4, Most Extreme Elimination Challenge?
Yes.
That's what it reminds me of, where it's just like 50 people all trying to just do this mayhem, and you're
do
just
the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's so fun. So
yeah, you were definitely screaming profanities when you were playing that, though, by the way.
Yeah, apologies for that.
Cool. All right, dude. Anything else? Did you get into any more Pokemon?
I did not. No, okay. Sadly.
Cool. I
will next week.
I might check that out with my kid. Seems like a good one.
Yeah.
Cool. Dude, that's what we played this week. If you want to hear about another game, so I see some suggestions down there in the chat. Superliminal Pitwob423 suggested this to me in a DM earlier. I don't know much about it, but it sounds like it might be a good time. So I'm going to put that one on my list to check out and talk to in the next few weeks here. But yeah, if you have any other suggestions, listeners, you can email us at omgpodcastgg@gmail.com, and we'll take those suggestions and we will run with them and let you know what we thought about the game. Cool. All right. Speaking of emails, we did get a singular email.
Got one.
It was awesome. I don't know who this person is.
We got
He goes
one.
by the tag Graviton. He wrote us. I'll pull the email up here. He said, OMG, guys, loved the episode last week. Think you guys are off to a great start. I'm also a pilot, and I just wanted to ask if you had any recommendations for finding groups of friends to play with. I don't get a lot of time like you guys to play, and it's hard for me to play with some of the old gaming crew just based on careers and schedules. What do you guys do to find people to play with? Any tips would be awesome. P.S. I'm not begging or intending you to play with me. Cheers, Graviton.
I will happily play with you, depending on what you play.
Dude, great. Oh my goodness. My wife
What?
just walked in. She told me she doesn't mean to interrupt, but our son is playing Switch in his bed illegally
Hi,
10:40.
Jen.
at 10:40 at night. Cool.
Love that.
Love you. Go deal with that.
Little
Go-
sneak.
Go deal with that delinquent.
Hi, Jen. Love you.
I never would have done anything like that. Oh my
No,
God.
not once.
Cool. All right, back to Graviton's email. So, yeah, dude. Swiftmida will play with you. I'll play with you. You can join our Discord, Bonsai Gaming. We will. I don't
Yeah,
think we have a link to that anywhere, but we'll get that. I'll send
I
you that
have
on
one
email.
on my Switch. Sorry, not Switch. Twitch.
Yeah, cool. Aside from that, that kind of got me thinking. Yeah, finding gaming friends these days is a little bit harder as an adult, right?
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, you don't go to school. If the people you work with don't play, then you're kind of like out there. So here's kind of my suggestions. We were all fighter pilots in Korea, and we kind of all, initially at least, kind of didn't really know how many people played games on the regular. And, it's kind of like in a world like that where you don't want to like be the first one to go out on a limb and be like, dude, I'm a nerd. Are you a nerd? You want to nerd out? You just gotta, but once we did all figure out that we were the gamers, dude, like we've created this great group of friends just built around that. And it's really cool.
Yeah.
But it does take a little bit of like jumping out on that limb and being like, hey, here's my passion hobby. What about you? And dude, that thing grew into like a huge group when we were deployed, right? There were like 15 of us that would just go back to our little deployed dorm and just nerd out.
Cubicles.
Yeah.
And game and sleep. Yeah. Dude, I'll say also first, thanks for the email.
Yeah.
We appreciate the support. But the thing I'll say, what Tay said stands true, obviously. Put yourself out there. The next thing I'll say is when we get into like, dude, when these guys aren't on, Tays and our other buddies, I'll just join random, like playing Call of Duty specifically. I'll join a random quad and see if anybody has mics. And no kidding, like 2 months ago, we ran into this dude. It was myself and somebody else, and we were playing trios, and this guy whose gamer tag was WCU Swim something. And we got to talking with him. His name was Kyle. And so still to this day, if that dude's on and nobody else is, we play with him constantly. He's joined kind of our group of Call of Duty players. And I mean, yeah, that's specific to Call of Duty, but I feel like holds true to most games. So just, dude, put yourself out there. See if anybody responds. There's gonna be a lot of people that don't respond, and when you say, "Hey," everybody's gonna be like, "Who are you?" Blah blah blah.
That or you'll hear like a 5-year-old start screaming, or
yeah.
or you'll hear somebody whose mic is like 99-cent store product, and they're sitting right next to their TV.
Yeah, or it's just in their mouth, and all you can hear is breathing the whole game.
Yeah, love it.
The other thing I'll say, just like I'll pile on to what Tay said, is the as far as workplace stuff. So we had a dude show up to our squadron recently who came from Japan, and randomly I was like, "Hey, dude, are you a gamer? Do you like playing video games?" And he was like, "Oh, I love playing video games." He built himself a PC just like I did. Again with Taze's help, based on last week's episode. But he was absolutely about it. So we played Halo together. We played COD together. We played all kinds of stuff together. So again, piling on to what Taze said, like just put yourself out there and I feel like being a nerd used to be kind of a weird thing, but these days I feel like it's becoming more normal. So
I
just
mean,
say, hey, anybody else like playing video games? Because I sure do.
nowadays you see NBA players streaming with video game streamers. Like,
Yeah,
it's
I was watching a Nick Merckx thing earlier, and he was saying that when he showed up to the Super Bowl, like NBA and NFL players were saying, like, dude, I love your stream. Like,
right.
dude, it's totally normal to be a gamer these days. So just get out there, you know?
Yeah, agreed, dude. Dude, you have if you're a PC gamer, for sure, you have a crazy resource in Discord. You can pretty much type in the Discord server search any game and then LFG, and you can find a server of people just looking for
Oh,
groups to
yeah,
play with.
that's a good point.
So I've got some friends in Destiny that I still play with to this day that I found in the Destiny looking for group Discord server. It's really cool, and it makes it really easy to join.
Have you ever met him?
One of them wanted me to meet him at a park at 2 a.m., but I decided against.
The only reason I ask is because I see on like Facebook and Instagram is these people being like, "Dude, I've been playing this guy since I was 15 years old, and we finally met.
Oh yeah,
16 years later."
yeah. No, I haven't done
No,
that yet. But
no, not a fan.
before Blizzard kind of went under, I wanted to go to BlizzCon, and there were probably going to be some friends that I had met online that I would meet there, but never got to go.
Yeah.
Cool, dude. Graviton, thanks for writing us. Like I said, if
Thanks
you
for the
guys have,
support.
yeah, that's awesome. And you guys can also do the same. I've said the email a few times, but one more time, omgpodcastgg@gmail.com. Send us your thoughts. Send us your questions, things you want us to talk about, games you want us to play. Once again, disclaimer, no scary games. We're
No,
much too sensitive for that.
no. I don't like that. Also on, I know he said the email, but OMG underscore podcast GG on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah. Reach out to us, send us your pictures, send us your thoughts, and we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
And then if you're just listening on podcasts, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere else you find your podcast. Follow and get messages anytime we go live on Twitch, or a new episode pops up on your feed there. And leave us a review if you don't mind, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. And that's that. Cool.
Yeah.
Swift, what about you, dude? Where can people find you? What are you gonna be doing this week? What do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna be flying a couple times this week. I've been so anybody listening / watching, you can find me at Swiftmida on Twitch. I haven't been streaming as long or as I haven't been streaming as much as I'd like to, basically. But I'm trying to get back into it. Again, my schedule's kind of crazy. I'm flying. My schedule varies up and down, mornings, nights. So I hope you guys follow me on Twitch if you haven't already. I look forward to streaming shortly or in the near future. And that's about it. I don't really have, I mean, Instagram, Facebook, blah blah blah. I don't, whatever.
Sweet, dude. Yeah, you can find me as well on twitch.tv /the_stroke_. And I got some big news coming up about my streaming schedule that we will be getting into shortly. Look out for that. I will connect that to all of the social media for this podcast as well, and you'll know when the time is right. So be on the lookout for that.
Yes, sir.
Other than that, dude, had a great time chatting with you. I'm sure I will see you online at some point.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts as you go hither?
No, it's been fun. I'm like super excited to hopefully continue this. It's been fun.
Yeah, it has. We'll look forward to getting one of these episodes out to you every week, and you can find us on all your podcast sites, and go ahead and share with your friends if you don't mind. And we will see you next week. This is theStroke and Swiftmida signing out, and going to join our unruly families as they break all the house rules and play video games in their beds. Ill-advised.
See ya.
See ya.
Just